Alright guys, so welcome back to Gamer Today. Today we're going to be talking about Caustic from Apex Legends. He's one of these pay-to-play characters, but you can also grind from him using the legend points or leveling up points. Caustic is pretty easy to get by just leveling up in the game, but you could also spend $10 and help the developers, of course, and you'll need at least $10 because even though he costs $7.50 or 1,200, legend points, which is the leveling up points again, it's still, you need to put the full $10 in to actually be able to purchase him. And for those of you guys who like skins and cosmetics, he's got some of the coolest ones. Here's my favorite.
The natural order of the universe. I simply catalyze the process.
I totally love that one, to be honest with you guys. And the banners he's got are very cool as well. I think they're quite charming and a little bit funny because, he's a, specialist who features gas, which we're going to talk about shortly. And, of course, his voice.
I relish the kill.
Gotta love it. As for his finishers, though, he's got 3 finishers, which is pretty darn cool. Unlike Mirage, who only has 2, so he's kind of better bang for the buck. I think his finishers are more brutal, somewhat fun, but I would say definitely more on the brutal side, especially his third one. If you do happen to get it, he just smashes him in the face. What's so special about Caustic is he's a gas trapper. He puts down gas traps, and if you walk through it, basically it slows you down completely, and it drains your health slowly, and it's very hard to see. And that becomes a big problem, especially if there's 2 Caustics, one on your team and one on the other, because then no one knows whose gas is friendly. And this is just one of his first abilities. But what I will tell you guys is if you go in a building, he's definitely more useful in buildings than he is in open areas with these traps, of course. But when you do throw him down, try to put them by doors, because right when they walk in, they're actually going to get hit with it. You can also put it a little bit farther away from the door too. And putting your traps in the middle of the room rather than by the door a little bit farther away from the door is actually a more keen way of doing it. And the reason for that is because they might see the trap and actually, activate it by opening the door, shooting it and walking back out, and then waiting for it to disappear. Or they might just come in and see it, smoke out, and then walk back out and wait for it to do its own thing. They might take a little damage, but it's not going to do the same as if they were all the way in the room. They can't see where anything's at, they don't know where the exit is, and you could start getting the shot on them. Is when you're Caustic, you can actually see through the gas pretty darn well, although your team still can't see through the gas very well, so do keep that in mind. And then of course there's one more thing to mention: when there's 2 Caustics around, even you can't tell which gas is which, so that's a bit of a problem for both of you. So do keep that in mind if you guys are throwing a bunch of these down and you and another team are going crazy over here. But yeah, putting them by doors is definitely a good way, especially if you're healing up, regardless if you put it right by the door, if you're like in a small building or something, and you need to heal up or do something, just putting them in the room is not a bad idea. It can be very effective, and either way, it'll at least give you enough time to heal up and do what you need to do. So it's definitely effective. Now, if you do place one down and you need to pick it up, you can actually pick these up. And the cool part of that is because even though you can put down as many of these as you want, you can actually basically recharge the ability, just like any of the other abilities in the game. It does recharge, but you get a total of 3 of them that you can put down when it's fully charged. Now, this is how they look when they dispose of the gas, and you can see it fills up that room with that noxious gas. Now, he's got another special ability, his ultimate special, and this one's pretty cool. It basically throws a smoke grenade that's like epic, and it like branches off and makes smoke all over the place, as you guys can see. It could be a good way to go out there and basically get a little hands-on time with your enemy, because he's going to be a little confused, and of course when he comes in, he activates your other trap, and then you can kick his ass. It's a lot of fun. You should look at Caustic as basically a crowd control character, because he really makes the game a lot different. When you have a Caustic on your team, you need to think about not being in the open spaces. Open spaces are his worst enemy. You go into open spaces, you're going to get shot. But if you use him in close quarters, he can be super effective with those traps. And because they recharge, and you do get a total of 3 once they're fully recharged, or you can just keep picking up your old ones as you put them down. So it never really hurts to just place him in a room while you're looking for loot if you're suspicious that there's someone around you. Like if you think there's a team that landed near you, put them down in the room. That way you can do your looting and not have to worry so much, because you'll know when they're coming or where they're coming from, because it'll obviously dispense of the gas and you'll know exactly what's going on. It'll buy you some time at least get your early weapons, of course. But anyways guys, that was it. Caustic is a really cool character. I definitely recommend him for $7.50. It's not too unreasonable, and again, Apex Legends is free to play, but helping the developers is always a good idea, because yeah, it keeps this game being fresh, keeps this game successful, and it really feels good to just support the developer on this game, because $7.50, not too much to be honest with you. But I will say guys, he's very easy to grind for, so don't get overwhelmed. If you can't afford it because you're a kid or you just don't want to spend money, you could always do it by just leveling up. Play the game, keep playing it, tell your friends, and enjoy it. But anyways guys, if you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Death finds a way.